Is there a requirement that the money, though, even if it's for a local project, be spent locally? For instance, if we're going to fix Route 12 or repave 190 or whatever, is the money going to go to a firm or to a construction firm in Leominster or Fitchburg, or is the money going, or if the lowest bidder is from Newton, is the money going to end up paying for jobs for people? You know,
we're not going to
from
know
our
yet.
area?
It's going to depend on who bids for jobs. I mean, you're still going to go through the bidding process. We can't just get rid of the bidding process and say, okay, well, let's get one of your guys, because, quite frankly, what if a town doesn't have someone? You know what I mean? So you're still going to have to bid on the projects, but it's supposed to be transparent. It's all supposed to be up on the governor's website. And quite frankly, I haven't looked at it recently, but from what we're told, it's all up there. And what my office is doing and what my colleagues are doing is sort of sticking our nose in it, basically, and saying, hey, listen, you know, we have priorities, we have responsibilities. This is what we want to see in our communities. And as I'm going to politely tell Jeff Simon tomorrow, thanks but no thanks. I don't trust the fact that you even know where Sterling is, let alone how you're going to get the money out there. And the fact that I was grouped in with Metro West the other day, and my transportation committee proves to me they have no idea where I live. So.
We had heard a rumor, actually before our last Democratic committee meeting, a rumor that the Lieutenant Governor had said that priority was going to be given to those projects that employ union workers. Do you know if that's correct? And you know, in a small town like Sterling, you may not even have a union firm in town. I don't know.
I haven't heard them say that. I think that stemmed from the president say something about project labor agreements, and then the governor said he wanted to do what the president was doing. I think that stemmed from that, but we actually called the governor's office and don't have confirmation of that at all.
Going back to the MBTA,
Yeah.
I know I use it for some time, going from Leominster to Waltham.
You're lucky.
Well, it's a great service. The problem is that unless you were there between a certain period of time, you either had to get it there or South Africa. It's
awful.
It's awful. Okay. And if the train basically was off schedule, they had to pull over to the side and wait for the train to come back.
Yep.
So with any of this money coming in, $30 million, I mean, it sounds good, it makes you feel good, but is it going to make a difference in terms of increasing the amount of...
It's not going to increase the frequency at this point. It's going to allow us to double track and to do the improvements that you're not going to see. You're not going to see the grade crossing improvement. Unless you're looking on the ground, you're really not going to see what we're doing.
Well, excuse me, John, that will increase the frequency.
But later.
Yes, once it's built.
But later, because right now the congressman's goal is to get from here to Porter in 60 minutes. And so once that goal, because the thing about the train is, once you get inside Porter Square, we have no control, because North Station just has all the lines going out towards this area. So we can't control what happens inside Porter Square.
It's getting there is the issue.
They're going to look at, according to the consultants, the frequency later. We're just trying to get the tracks changed. We're trying to get the double tracking done. We're trying to get the grade crossings are done. The signalization we're going to put in cab. There's a whole host of our wish list, basically, that they've been working on.
And that includes, I believe, fiber optic cable coming out?
It does. It does. It includes fiber optics, and it includes, well, the Wi-Fi is going to happen. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is already going to be there. But you're not going to see new locomotives. We are not spending money on new locomotives. And, you know, I said this publicly before, and the congressman has said it, just get us there. We're not going to fight about buying new trains. I once told the lieutenant governor, we'll take Worcester's trains if you guys keep trying to buy new ones. Like, just get us there. Just get us back and forth. That's all we want at this point. So regardless of the stimulus package, the commuter rail issue is still moving forward, with or without it. The stimulus is going to help us. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is definitely going to help us. But we had already had the commitment from the feds for the $75 million. Already had the commitment from the state for the $75 million. And then anything else, we do have their to-do list. So.
With transportation reform, how does that affect regional transportation authorities like Mark, of course? and the trickle down towards the Council of Aging vans, money still there, or will that disappear, or?
That's not part of transportation reform, not about the budget. If you're worried about the funding part of it, it's going to be the budget. The transportation reform, it may change how it's funded. I mean, we're not getting rid of regional transit authorities.
Well, a portion of the MBTA assessment that the town pays goes towards MARC.
All that will be worked out in ways and means. Yes, absolutely.
With the budget, what are we estimating for local aid cuts? Generally speaking,
We don't know
we
yet.
don't,
We don't know yet.
5%, 10% level funding?
We don't know yet. We don't. If we knew, you'd have a resolution. You know, we didn't expect to come 90 million under in February either.
If you find that you're coming under, would there be any support for other parts of the governor's municipal act, such as the local option meal taxes and those kinds of things? It seemed like
A lot of people don't want that. Because they don't want to tax their communities. You know, I've heard from restaurateurs in Fitchburg, their family owned. They're not a Chili's or a Longhorn or an Outback. They said it's going to hurt them more than help them. And the amount of money that you're going to get back from that, a lot of people are saying no. See, this is what we're fighting with, is that we know that there's a revenue problem on Beacon Hill. We know this. I know this when I go into every agency that wants me to come visit their site, or every senior center that I go to. Like, you know, that Clinton's looking for a new one, and they're not going to be able to do it. And, you know, Leominster needs this to keep its services, and Gardner and everything else. Whenever we start to talk about how we're going to fix it, meals taxes aren't popular, hotels taxes aren't popular, gas tax is not popular. None of it's popular because people do not want to go back into their pockets, and I don't blame them. I mean, I have to pay the same taxes everybody else does. But a lot of smaller towns do not want to do it.
Well, but, so how, and I blame the governor for this to a certain extent. How do we communicate the fact, I say we because I support the idea of an increased meals tax, but how do we communicate the idea that it's not going to be as bad as you think it is? I mean, it's one of the frustrations I have with the governor, I'm sure you do too, is he comes up with these great ideas and then he doesn't push them, he doesn't explain them, and everyone's left to run around and, you know.
You have to do them through your town meetings and through whatever way you can. And I say you because if I do it, right now I'm the enemy. I work in a place that has ethics problems. I work in a place that is looking to tax people. I work in a place where people are getting patronage jobs. You know, every time I turn around, someone is blaming us for something. So if I go out and say, hey, this is going to be a really good plan for you, people are going to look at me and say, yeah, right, she's just part of Beacon Hill. If you do it, sometimes it gets a little more credence because you live here and you have family here and you have kids and everything else. What we're dealing with right now is a perception problem. The media is certainly kind of, the major media is feeding into the perception that everything is bad on Beacon Hill. And I can't tell you that it's not. You know, not all of us are getting $175,000 jobs. Not all of us are taking money from Rise, and not all of us are, you know, have all these side jobs going on. So it's difficult. It's difficult to explain all of it, and that's what we do in my office day in and day out. Is listen, this is how much it's going to get. For some of the smaller towns, you're only going to get like $30,000, and to you it may be a lot of money, but you know, I have places like Ashby who keep saying no to a new police station. They're in a double wide. They're in a double wide trailer for their police, and they're saying no still because they don't want to spend the money. People are afraid they're not going to have their jobs in 6 months. They don't want to add to their tax bill. They don't want to add. They don't want to go out to eat because they don't know if they can afford it. And that's what I hear every day. That they're just really, really nervous. And I would be too. I mean, I definitely would be.